All right, all right. Welcome to the QB School. Do it live. A little special quarterback school, quick game live. Fired up for this one. If you are new to the stream, do me a favor. Even if you aren't, if you're old school, been here before many times, seen the lives, hit me with your favorite emoji. Make sure I sound all right, locked in, ready to go. My man Patrick checking in hot. Love it. Appreciate the quarterback school membership as well. Big time. Sir, we are going all things quick game. That's not actually true. We're going to do like a mini clinic here, quick game centric. So if you have questions specifically around or centered on the quick game, now is the time. I've got some video that I'd like to get to at some point, potentially. We'll see how that goes. Always interesting interweaving multiple technologies, different screens that I'm not used to going. Checking in from Turkey. I like it. Alprien. Hopefully I said that correctly. My man Jordan. Appreciate it. Everybody who's in right now, the stream, I certainly appreciate the support. Hopefully, maybe you saw an email. Maybe you saw me advertise it somewhere else. I certainly appreciate it. I'm probably going to do one more clinic, a little bit more in-depth when we get into maybe next week, kind of closing out the first month of the new course. So excited to do that. It will most likely... that's not true. Well, I haven't said it yet, so it's not true or false. Most likely duo. I might do a poll for the Patreon people to see exactly what they want to see. But I certainly appreciate everybody locked in right here. My man Nick, Jim, Coach Birdwell. We're talking hitches. We are going to talk hitches, actually. Someday, maybe you'll get the story out of me about the hitches. But you got to do them at some point. Nobody likes them. But they're a must for a number of different levels or from multiple different reasons. But we'll certainly get into that, break that thing down. And really, this is just a small sample of what the free quick game course is. So I'm pretty sure it's in the description to this live. If it's not, it's in the description to every video that I've put out recently over the last few months. So if you haven't checked out the free quarterback school course on the quick game, do that. It is about, I want to say, 6 different videos spread out over the course of 5 weeks that I'll send you one every single week, so you stay locked in with exactly what's going on with that. It's I had a lot of fun putting that thing together, and just to kind of drum up some excitement for it, we're doing a little quick game live. I like it. Coach A. Ramirez, my man, duo. Jordan, what is Zorro? I don't even know if I necessarily know what Zorro is. I'm sure it's something we do. My man. All right. Oh, gosh. All right. Well, if you have specific questions for the quick game, do me a favor and lock in with that. If you haven't already, hit the like for the stream. I certainly appreciate it. Hopefully you are subscribed to the channel as well. Hopefully, if you enjoyed the stream and the live, you will sign up for the quick game course, which will go into a lot more detail about certain route combinations, certain routes, maybe some pass pro that stuff we don't get to necessarily in this little quick mini course. But I'll certainly try to start this with just a few questions if there are questions that pop up in the stream here real quick. Otherwise, I'm just going to let it go and we'll watch some film. And if things don't make sense, maybe we'll circle back and do some questions at the end. So let's see what we got question-wise to get going here. Zachary Davis, wristband quick game or color code system or digit system? None of those. I've done all of them, I guess. I just prefer named concepts. That's just me. Griffin, we are not covering Haas Y Juke. I don't consider Haas Y Juke a quick game. Sorry. I think the Juke is more of like a drop back game for me, although hitches are tethered to it, obviously, on the outside. Zorro is what? Zorro is the bedrock? Yeah, sorry, bro. I don't even understand the question. Gabe, am I a fan of mirrored quick game in the spread? Yes and no. So this will take us down a rabbit hole here a little bit. Am I a fan of it? Not really. Do I do it, and have I done it at the high school level? Yes. And really that's just because it's easier more than anything else. You know, in a perfect world, in a whiteboard world, I think that there doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have mirrored concepts, especially at the high school level where you have the wider hashes, where you can really take advantage of space a little bit better. But to be honest with you, so much of it when I was calling plays was just, hey, let's take the easy completion to the boundary. And we evolved into just kind of having everyone do the same thing. And so it was mirrored, but it wasn't necessarily mirrored at the same time. So it's one word would say the whole concept and everyone would do the same thing. Technically that's mirrored, but I'm not calling mirrored concepts on both sides is another way I look at it, but we're also not reading it full field. It was really kind of a boundary completion idea. Hopefully that makes sense. My man Russell Reeder checking in. Is there still value to passing the ball under center, Griffin? Yeah, absolutely. There's value passing the ball under center. I personally I probably prefer when I was, well, so let's walk this back. As a player, I preferred quick game under center. Okay, let that sink in. Yeah, I am that old. Because, for a few reasons, I prefer it under center as a player. One, I would always get the laces. Okay, so you usually when you get a snap under center, you're going to get the laces pretty right on your right hand all the time, or else you're not doing it correctly. The other part about being under center for me was that I never took my eyes off the defense. So in a shotgun, a lot of the way that I teach shotgun quick game to our quarterbacks is, first of all, you have to take your eyes off the defense to catch the ball. You also just grip it and rip it. You don't get the laces. In fact, we practice most of our warming up, especially when we're stationary, is all without the laces. And that is because it's tethered to this RPO quick game, being able to throw without the laces. So if you're under center, you get the laces. You never take your eyes off the defense. The negative is that you're usually closer to the line of scrimmage or closer to the offensive lineman. The pass protection is a little bit more difficult. The drop is certainly more difficult. I think you can get really into the weeds as far as what that three-step drop looks like. Is it a 1 and big 2? Is it like a rhythm 3? Are you hitching at the back of the third one? That you start getting into a lot more crap, really. That's kind of the word for it. It's just easier to stand back at 5 yards, catch a dead ball, and let it rip with one step, in my opinion. But playing-wise, I think it's a hell of a lot easier under center with the laces and not taking your eyes off the defense. Boom. Hopefully that made sense. Ryan Ross for Jord. Sorry, dude. How many quick game concepts do you carry? All right, so this question is a good question. It's going to bleed into things that are probably, like many things on this channel, not necessarily cookie cutter clean answers. So I personally, what's the best way to say this? I consider the quick game and the RPO world really kind of connected or cousins. So almost anything that we run in the quick game world, we also run in the RPO world. And so whether that's a front side like access route or gift type route, or whether that's a true RPO conflict defender read route. And so, they're all the same. And so, we carry an element of hitches, an element of stick, an element of slants, all slant, slant flat, double slant, triple slant, slant wheel, inside fade, rub routes. Not so much, a little bit at the goal line, but those aren't middle of the field, middle 20s type plays very much. So I would say that's the core element of it. If there are concepts that, I've already seen people say like Hank or Hoswai Juke, to me, those are drop back plays. Anything that would be a 5-step drop under center is a drop back, not a quick game. That's the first part. Let's put a parameter on it. Under center, 3-step, shotgun, 1-step. Shotgun gets a little muddy. I know that I probably lean on the fence of old guy prefer precise footwork in the passing game. The reality is that the way football is played in certain concepts, certification or not, it's a little bit looser, I think, with the footwork as far as the timing, because you're running to grass and you're settling in space, that it's not as precise as I would prefer, a kind of elite comprehensive passing game at any level. So that's the first side of it. So hopefully I answered the question there. I'm trying to think if there are others that I don't have. And then, all the screen game, is really quick game too, whether it's bubble, whether it's, I guess it would fall into its own screen game. Zachary Davis. Oh, you got me another question here, bro. I like it. Are you calling quick game always to the boundary side? No. Jordan, is it easier now that we have live in 7-7 era for QBs to see the defensive scheme out of the gun? I think it's always been easier to play quarterback out of the gun. I don't think it has anything to do with 7-on-7 era. You just, get away from the issues up front more than anything else. I think it takes away a little. I personally just never like to take my eyes off the defense if there's some sort of timing element of it. So, for instance, let's think like a bang 8 or like a glance or a speed out, or I'm trying to think what other would be like a timing type throw that I would prefer those under center when I was playing. Now, it doesn't mean that they're impossible to do in shotgun. I just think it's easier if you can keep the flow and you have the laces, and it's just a more consistent thing. I don't know. Hope that makes sense. Taylor Green, what would lead you to calling quick game as opposed to RPO with the quick game concept attached? Taylor, that is the type of question I'm looking for. Outstanding question, Taylor. So let's unpack that. Why in the world would you ever have to call quick game if you have RPOs with the quick game? Why would not have the best of both? Because if the quick game's not there, let's run it. Or if the quick game is there, let's throw it and we can block the run, which is usually easier than pass protection. Right? The issue, or at least the issue for me as a play caller, specifically at the high school level, is the quarterbacks would not do what I wanted them to do. And that is to read the conflict defender consistently. I'm not saying that they were necessarily bad at it consistently, but if I knew the quick game was there, I knew, hey, our best player is the wide receiver. I want him throwing the ball. I can't call an RPO and for sure guarantee that he's going to get the ball. I can highly control where the ball goes in our quick game by letting him know, hey, I want the boundary hitch versus one-on-one off coverage. And instead of calling that a gift route with an RPO tagged to the run, I can just call all hitch. And that's really what it came down to. It was strictly controlling where the ball went as best I could without losing my mind in frustration that, I gave the decision-making reins to the quarterback and they wouldn't do what I thought the read dictated as consistently as I would like, whether in practice or in the game. So we did keep quick game. Now, I know coaches at the FBS level that really basically don't carry any quick game. They do all RPO, and I think that there's a valid point to being able to do that. I think that there's time and place for all of them. I'm someone just kind of down and distance wise, as I feel myself jumping around from topic to topic here, like I really like slants on 3rd and long. So like 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, I like slants because I think if you catch it and fall forward, you can have a first down. And that's a hell of a lot easier than completing, a seam or a, deep comeback. And so that's another reason why we carry slants. Now, the other part about the quick game, and this is more overarching philosophically here, pass game wise, I prefer to keep our fast guys on the move going towards the end zone. Now, to me, that's not revolutionary, but I think it is when I go out there and watch a bunch of other teams throw quick outs to the boundary where the guy catches a really difficult throw and steps out of bounds. Quick outs are not for me. Little speed outs, like the 5-yard quick out that everybody probably grew up running. We didn't have it in our offense for 3 years. Never ran it once, never heard about it, never felt like, gosh, man, I wish we really had that quick out in the game plan. We just didn't do it. If we had to do it, we did wide split hitches, but at least if we caught the hitch, we were still in bounds, could make somebody miss and maybe go score, as opposed to the quick out where you catch it, tiptoe out of bounds. It's a hard-ass throw, tiptoe out of bounds, 6 yards. It's just not for me. So slants I love because you're going towards the end zone. You would think that they would be easy to catch, throw and catch. Depending on what level you're at, they're not that easy to throw and catch, but I think they're one of the biggest bang for your buck as far as time spent teaching it, running it, repping it, and chance for explosive plays, especially at the lower levels. Boom. Oh, I see a couple Pass Pro questions in here quickly. Depending on the level you're at, I think you can get away with damn near any iteration of Quick Game Pass Pro. Most recently, the last year, I'm trying to think if we almost always did, I shouldn't say, we 90+% of the time did full slide Quick Game and put the back or sniffer off whoever I thought was the weaker defensive end or C-gap player. We did do a few times this past year when it became legal to cut. Our guys were just never that comfortable with it. I probably didn't do a good job practice planning it and making it something that we practiced enough to be comfortable with it. We did do it. I like to do it just to, chop the hell out of the defensive line, not necessarily because I thought it was a better pass protection, but just to, take the edges off those cats and not let them pin their ears back. Is something that I like. I don't like to do it all the time. That's one of those things I like to do, like to start a series. If you're going to get a free access hitch or slant, you can't. The other thing about chopping, I always thought, is you can't really go through a read. Not that there's a whole lot of going through full field reads in the quick game, but if you're going to chop or cut at the line of scrimmage, you really got to get the ball out of your hand quickly, because the guy's going to, even if he doesn't hit you, he's going to be standing there with his hands available to jump up. So that was how I always thought. Boom. Patrick, I knew we were on the same page, bro. Got to control where the rock goes. All right, so let's just make sure we're on the same page here footwork wise, and then we'll watch the film, because this is something that obviously I wasn't a good enough coach with it, because you'll see bleed of what I would consider poor footwork in a lot of these clips. And so in shotgun, we were shotgun offense. It was catch, one step, all your cleats in the ground, great base, let it rip. That's it. If it's not there, one and run, 1-2 run, maybe. But a lot of these, there are no full field reads. Occasionally we'll do 1-2 reads. Think slant wheel. Slant wheel was a big play for us, especially in the red area. So 1 to the slant, 2 to the wheel, those types of 1-2 run type reads. I think I took all the scrambles out of it, actually. What are the other things? So the base element of it. The other part about it is occasionally we had multiple full slide pass protections. So full slide pass protection with the back on the same side, no fake, no flash fake. The back on the opposite side of where he's going to be coming up to the line of scrimmage, we would do a flash fake. That flash fake, I tried to get taught in the quick game, flash fake, one step. We have a couple plays where we allow them to do what I call hybrid drops or shuffle drops. And so it's almost like a catch shuffle, I guess kind of like a shuffle back, so you would catch it, turn your feet, shuffle back. So it's more than a one step and not a 3-step. But inevitably, you would see sometimes our guys would flash fake, and then they're so used to 3-stepping out of it that they would 3-step and be late to the quick game. So that was the first kind of thing that jumped off the film when I went back to watch it, was just the sync of our footwork with our precision on the outside. The other part about it is when we would run a decent amount of slants. Anytime we get press coverage on a slant, time that corner or DB in front of the slant runner is within 5 yards, we tell our quarterbacks to sink. So it's not a reset or a hitch, it's catch. Put your back foot down. For me, I'm right-handed. Put my right foot down. And instead of hitching or resetting forward, it's just sink on that back foot. So you just kind of collapse the knee, keep your shoulders, eyes level, and allow the timing to be able to be where you need it to be. You can't rush it. If it's press coverage, you can't catch it, grip it, rip it, like it's free access and you're throwing routes on air. So you just have to have an understanding when you get into that. And that really tethers into what we do with our inside fade play. So to the slot, if it's press, you really got to catch, sink, and give them time. I don't want you, that's one of those hybrid drops where sometimes if it's press, they can take a full-on shuffle. But I would prefer them just catch, sink, just to stay in the same sphere of being able to keep the timing exactly where we want it with that great base. Gabe, no, I would not classify snag as quick game. Anytime I'm taking more than a one-step drop in shotgun, it's not quick game. That's for me. I think that's how, I would imagine that's how most people would classify it. Maybe you think because the route isn't very deep that it's not, but like, for instance, the drive concept in the West Coast world is a 5-yard kind of shallow. That's a 7-step drop under center. So I don't really think it has anything to do with the depth of the routes. It's just the timing of it. And so for me to throw a corner, you need more than, you know, a 3-step under center or 1-step in gun. Boom. Oh, easy FA. All right. Oh, Bryce, let me see this one. I see a question in here. Thoughts on signaling to wide receivers every play for quick game, live and dead? Thoughts on signaling to wide receivers for quick game, live and dead. Are you talking about giving the quarterback the capacity to signal to wide receivers? That would be a hard hell no for me, you know, unless you're really around somebody that you trust and have been around in the system for a long time. You know, I think at most high school levels, at least that I was around, I don't know if I would be wanting to give away the control of where the ball's intended to go that frequently. If you're talking about signaling from how we call plays, that's the only way that I've ever called plays at the high school level, is to signal every single thing from the sideline. And so that's how we roll. Oh, Coach Gray's coming in with a good question here. I can see it. Quick game during 2-minute offense. Did you signal the play every time, or did you have the QB audible at the line of scrimmage? Also, did you change the formations? So, yes, that's the beautiful thing. The best way I can answer those questions is yes. We have a few different ways to do it. Everything is a signal. Everything is a one word. So the formation is one word and the play is one word. The play combines the pass protection. So theoretically, we could change the pass protection changes with the concept. All the pass protections are tethered to the types of concepts. So I would have to signal the formation and the play every single time. The other thing that we carry are a number of just one-word plays. Now, they're not one-word plays like I think most one-word people think. And that's like, we're not getting up there and running like a spread triple with our one word. Our one word plays are usually combine a shift, a motion, and a play. And so they're a little bit more complex in how they're put together, but we communicate them in one word to do all of those things so that we can do them in those 2-minute situations. But at the end of the day, the offense was constructed to think that we could go as fast as humanly possible all the time. And so there is no 2-minute offense. The 2-minute offense is the offense. Boom. Joe, hey, yo, my man, got me fired up with your Wednesday channel video going. Man, it was looking good. All right, let's watch a little video here. See if I can... Antoine, no, there are not speakers allowed in high school helmets. Well, if there are, we didn't have the money to do it. I don't know if there are or aren't. In fact, I've seen speakers in college baseball catchers' helmets now, so I'm sure it's coming for all of us. That would be nice. I personally, this is just me talking, even if we got the ability to speak to the quarterback in the headset, I would still signal the whole play from the sideline the way that we were operating. Now, there is some benefit to huddling like they do in the league because those plays are so complex and you can change so much of it from week to week. At the high school level, we were never really going to change that much of it from week to week. Now, we had the capacity to, but we would carry over a lot of our menu, you know, for a month per se until we ran it a few times or something like that, where in the league it turns over every single week that you know, you almost have to huddle. Boom. All right. Coach Dre, what's up, good sir? All right, let's watch a little video. Now, we're going to live on the edge here, see if this thing works as I transfer my face to the video. But just before we do it, I want to say the way that I constructed the video was hitches, slants, slant wheel, inside fade, maybe, I think are the three that I really went into here. My man, you're welcome, Andrew. All right, here we go. We're switching the screen, living on the edge. Boom. There it is. And it worked. All right, now will the video work? So first one here, we are going hitches, bottom of the screen. Okay, off coverage. Okay, this is peak tempo for us. See how everybody peaks to the sideline? That's one signal. Our hitch play. Full slide to the left. Hitch. Boom. Now, I would love for him, to me, he's late here. So catch it, one step, throw it, trust it. Now, this is not a great hitch down here run. This guy just walked off the basketball court to play here for us, never played football at the high school level. You can see him running with his head turned, not what we're looking for. But what I am looking for is to get our ball to our best athletes in space as quickly as we can. Now, I also don't love the fact that he jumps and catches it in his chest. But that's my man right there. Easy way to get new guys into football who are great athletes. Easy touches, hitches. So again, watch the communication. So this is just me on the sideline signaling. See the signal. See the back is the only person that has to move. Full slide to the left. Our back right there is actually probably one of our better blockers. So I wanted him on big 5-2. Technically, you're hot there, but it doesn't matter. I tell quarterbacks, especially at the high school level, when we're doing full slide, quick game, there is no hot. The throw, every throw is a hot throw. Hitch to the boundary. There it is. Again, that much cushion, you have to be able to do it. Now, we're getting a lot of cushion like this because we're a pretty good running team, and people felt like they had to overload the box to us, essentially play an iteration of 0. But again, if you're throwing all hitch here, you really have, I worked it in with these guys. This quarterback had a pretty good understanding. If we're going to run hitch, and this is 3-by-1, we've got other locked hitches out here. What is the easier throw here? This is what is one of his best friends. He's trying to get touches to this guy, also his buddy. To me, I always preferred the boundary throw just because you knew it was safe. You knew it was easy. Right on his face, footwork wise, catch, one step, throw. There it is, outstanding. And we warm up doing this every day. We go from pat and go to quick game on air every day. Hitch, slant. Again, catch, throw. So just the footwork wise of it here. Catch, throw. Now he's got a little bit of a false step that I just couldn't cure with his left foot. But that's just a really nice job footwork wise. All his cleats in the ground, rip it. Now you don't get to see the throw here, but this is a touchdown. So this is what happens, when you get your guys, athletes in space. Oh, let me see if I can move my face here, or else this is not going to be a very good video. Watch this. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Just like that, we're back. All right, so we're running hitch to the right. This is 2-by-2, but still to the short side. So again, you could see he had the inside hitch too if he wanted it, right? 13, boom. Full slide, put it on him, make one guy miss, and it's to the house. Just that simple. I gotta move myself back. Hold up. All right, hitches again. Well, yeah, a couple more hitches here. So again, now we do a bunch of different ways to get hitches, whether it's smashes, whether it's true all hitch. To me, this is supposed to be all hitch. I don't know what my man's doing in the slot down here to the bottom. But again, we were getting so much 0, and I didn't want to throw a post or a go every single play, that hitches became just a way for us to have long handoffs. And they are easy, but you got to make sure that you're on the same page as far as depth, timing. This is something that's certainly baked into the DNA of how we practiced. So I think he goes to the field up top here. So this is one of those situations where I prefer not to do this. If it works, great. But to me, I was always taught in quick game, if you work one side, it would be 1, and 2 would be run. If you work up here, you got to pick one of these guys, and it's a little bit easier when they're all on the same side. You can have a few more options, but it's really hard, and he does it right here. He's trying to throw it to our big wide receiver down here. That's why I'm calling the play. This safety type guy, I think this is 20. This was their best player. A little nervous of him making a play on the ball. Don't love the spacing of him outside the box to the boundary. This is a tight throw. What I really dislike normally, just pure teaching, is going 1 to then 2 hitch up top. Now it works here, and this essentially is spacing. This is kind of the bones of spacing here, getting back over the ball. So no back across, but he does it so quick. Watch the quarterback. He does it really without taking a hitch or reset, even though you can't see the guy's feet. He does it all in one motion. Again, the other thing about throwing this hitch up top, is he's throwing it away from the near defender. You look and see where that near defender is, whether this is a stick route or a sit over the ball. If this is the near defender, you want to put that ball away from him on that far shoulder. Now, if you thought that this guy was the near defender, you'd want to put it on the inside shoulder. So you're telling this guy which way to turn with the ball location. So if this is the near defender, you need to put the ball on the far shoulder so that he can catch it and then turn this way, away from the near defender. So really important with the ball location there. I think I got one more hitch here. Oh, here we'll be able to see the, watch how fast he does he goes from left to right. So you see how I mean, that's not a true, hitch reset read. And that's a beautiful pass. Nice, easy hitch away from the near defender, catch, turn, there it is. I mean, that's literally, ironically, a clinic cut up right there. Perfect. All right, one more hitch here, I think. This is a little bit more recent a video. I need to get myself out of the way here. Hold on. Ooh. Don't want that. See if I can do it this way. All right. So this is a little bit more of how we evolved the last few years, a little bit more heavy personnel. This is 12 personnel. Now, you don't have to be a genius in the passing game to realize you got one-on-ones outside. Nice, easy pitch and catch, hitch either way. The boundary is easier, catch and go. And you can see here, this is when we get the full slide with the fake. We just had it built in. This is, what, 8-person protection to throw a hitch. This is what a running team looks like passing the ball. But again, real easy completion. Get your guy the ball in space, quickly, easy. Not very many bad things can go wrong, although you are living on the edge here with the fake right in front of the quarterback with the quick game. But we were so run dominant to the tight end that anything that went away from that I thought was a huge tip. All right, so those are a bunch of hitches. And really the only time something went wrong with the hitch is when it got converted to a fade and we just missed the throw. So now let's get to some slants. So first thing here, this is a slant at the bottom of the screen. Is this dragon lion? Yeah. So this is slant flat with double slants. So first thing here, let's watch the footwork. So this should be a catch, one step throw. First he takes a false step with his left foot. All right, I couldn't solve it. Right there. You can see him kind of sink on that back foot. He's not quite ready for it. To me, I would love for him to just trust it and let it rip. Catch, throw. To me, it's a tick late, but it's a perfect opportunity for a touchdown, and this is really a drop touchdown. So I think the timing is a little bit jacked, but I mean, this is a premium look, right? This is our best player, one of our best players running a slant with outside leverage, with nobody in the middle of the field, y'all. We've got a one-step slant, which I'm used to calling a dart here, and then on the other side, we're running flat with slant, okay? And at the time, I think we were doing closed. You work the slant flat. Open, you work the lion or the double slant. And, this is the dude we're trying to get the ball to. So everything is there except, the timing of it to me. Now, could the wide receiver, just run harder? I'm not sure about that stem. But it's there. He catches that thing. It's a perfect throw right on the guy's face. He's got a chance to score. So, and you see that concept run at damn near every level. It's a nice, easy one, simple read, based off the shell usually. Down here, we've got, this is Slant-wheel. It's a bit of a funky one. This is actually a game winner for us. Again, verse 0. Dragon wheel or Slant-wheel to me was a go-to play. Verse 0. This is one of the few, this is kind of a bizarre way that it worked out here. I do not recommend it working out like this most often. But let's see here. So it works out slant here. They're in 0. We've got the slant and then the wheel here to the back corner. Slant, wheel. They end up playing zero but not passing it off. This guy tries to pass it off, but really he just turns his back. So this guy is now looking this way. And we teach our guy, if you're not looking, you just throw it like he's not even there. And there's a slant right in that window. So a little bit of a funky look, but man, we rep and call the heck out of slant wheel down here in the red area. So you can see that 22, he never gets his head back. And really the slant was going to be a touchdown, is a touchdown here. And then the wheel was going to be a touchdown too. And we really, really rep, call, everything with this one. This is back in the day when you can see our wide splits here. Didn't last long. This is slant wheel again, except now we've flipped the formation. So our big wide receivers, our outside wide receivers are in the slot. So again, full slide. This is really outstanding footwork here, base. So that little shuffle. So when he knew he was going to throw the wheel, this is a 4th and 10, right outside the red area, or right in the red area, like right on the 12 or 11 yard line. If you know you're going to throw the wheel, you can shuffle. Great base. Again, it ends up turning into like a hole shot more than anything else. So the guy on the right side of the screen, he's running the wheel. Again, peak tempo. So not a whole lot of good plays, 4th and 10 from the 11. Dragon wheel, slant wheel is to me. And really, maybe could have had a slant touchdown down here. But again, nothing wrong with throwing it to your best player. Again, slant wheel up top. You can see the slant for the touchdown. Again, nice job. Footwork, catch one step, great base. Strike of a throw. Again, big body guy running slant. If it wasn't there, you can see the wheel's going to be there too. I certainly prefer this to the boundary. You can work it to the field. We worked it to the field also. Definitely a mirrored concept whenever I called this one though. I think maybe I called dragon wheel with like a Y cross, in like a 7-on-7 situation, but in the game it was always full mirror. Again, a great zero call, pressure call, because you got the full slide. You've got good hot throws. You've got good quick throws. You've got good man beater throws. Basically, the only thing it's not good against is quarters, I would say. Dragon wheel again. Another touchdown down here to the bottom of the screen. This time the slant. This time it's definitely late. Right? Again, footwork. A lot of different quarterbacks here. This time he's going left to right. Definitely don't want to do this. But it works out here. Don't want to live in a world where you're going full field reads on quick game when you're really trying to throw to the number one receiver, that first guy. You're almost always going to be late. I say that, and then I've shown 2 clips of it working. Again, other things to pay attention to with all these throws, if you go back and watch it, or many of these throws, they're all up on the guy's face. There's not a lot of low, waist, knee shots here. We want that throw up on the guy's face. If he doesn't catch it, it's going to hit him in the face. Now let's run inside fade. Okay, so this is another one of my favorite concepts. I think it's everybody's favorite concept nowadays. Inside fade is a fade here. So just a go and a locked hitch outside. If we ran it with a third eligible to that side, it would run essentially a stick. We didn't call it a stick. We called it a snitch. The reason we called it a snitch was because it was a 3-way go. What does that mean? That means based on the leverage of this player, it could be a slant and out, or it could be an up, fake the out, and come back in, almost like a whip. So this was a very expensive concept for us, for something we ended up not throwing a lot in games, but man, I really liked it. And I think if we were still going, it would be one of those things that would be a priority. Just watch the inside fade. On this inside fade, the read here is just reading the corner up top. So the ball needs to go to the corner, to the hitch. That corner gets depth. He's that far off. Just throw the hitch. Just throw the hitch. Don't do this. We're just chucking balls up for grabs. Really fortunate that guy can't catch, and that's not an interception. This is one of those ones where this is why I start calling all hitch. So again, we're taking the wrong drop. we're late, we're throwing to the guy who's covered. This is a good example of how you end up with all hitch. Again, same thing from the back. I think this was off our duo play action. So a little bit different play action, but it's a quick fake. Even with the play action, the drop is tethered to the concept, not the other way around. Really should be an interception. Next one is inside fade up top. Now again, you see these teams against us playing a lot of zero because we were just so good at running the ball. You had to play some iteration of zero, it felt like. So we're running inside fade up top, and it's just not fair. That's one of our best players. Just gapping him against a guy who can't hang with him. Footwork wise here, you can see the one step. So this is the right timing of it. So quick flash fake, one step, throw it. That's the timing of it. We gave him a slant down here to the bottom. So this is an example of a not mirrored concept. But this is, he was our MVP from the fall. Great DB and wide receiver, just an athletic, dynamic dude. That if I saw one-on-one on the sideline, even middle field close, certainly zero. I like it even better versus zero because you're going to get inside leverage most of the time on those DBs. But even versus middle field close man, with the divider rolls, I'm still going to throw inside fade to him and have that much trust in him. This is just the correct footwork. I think it's so much cleaner when you get the correct footwork. Flash fake, one step, throw. He's still waiting for the ball a little while. Couple more inside fades here, and then we'll do some questions. So inside fade here. This is an example of the snitch by the number 3. So now he throws the hitch, which I'm fine with. You know, I probably would have thrown the inside fade. The footwork is wrong. You know, he's late to the hitch down here. You know, I just had so much faith in this guy winning. Like he, you know, I think everybody, if you play long enough, you're going to be around people that just win. And this guy just wins constantly. And so even when he he gaps him here, and this guy's off here, you know, he's still not, he's not covering him. You know, like that first one versus the red team. I would still throw it here. And the way that this thing worked usually here, so this is a locked hitch. Here's that inside fade where we're trying to get the ball. That's the intent of the call. And then here's the snitch play. So the snitch here is the one where you can run if he's off, you run just a hitch or a stick. If he's inside leverage, you run the slant out, slop. Or if he's outside leverage, you run the up, 2 steps into the out, back in on the like reverse whip. So you can watch it. And really the intent of the read here was always inside fade, hitch, you're reading the corner. If it's not there, that's 1, and then the snitch is 2. So just watch the timing here. If you didn't like this, let's get to the snitch 2. He does a great job, you know, tying. That's a beautiful route there on the slant out by the number 3. So we got winners all over the place. Obviously, hold on to the ball. Jeez Louise. Love the uncle there getting people fired up to get on the field. So love this concept. Again, you know, you don't see this front in the field very often unless you're playing against a team who's pretty good at running the ball. Really nice job by 24 there on the slant out. Again, the footwork is wrong. That's how you end up throwing all hitches. Ball security is wrong. That's how you end up running the rock. Real talk there. Inside fade again up top. This is a great example of what I'm talking about with guys who just win. Okay, so far we've seen a lot versus zero. So this is a premium look for me as a play caller here. We've got our best player versus I don't care who we're playing. Middle field closed, man coverage, right? Easy to see. Man, man, man. Now, I don't recommend this type of release, although I allowed this guy to do it because he would win. And if you win, you get to do what you want to create space and win. The other part about this is if the middle field player is the quarterbacks on inside fade. So he's got all this space to use. The quarterback has to hold the middle field player, and we have to trust, put it this way, if you are an inside fade runner, so everybody gets to run these in practice, but not everybody gets to run them in the game. So if you are the guy that we choose to run this, you have to have the capacity to beat this guy one-on-one. I don't care what his leverage is. If it's outside leverage, you can best release it and push back out there, but you got to win and get vertical and get width. If it's inside leverage, it's stealing. So he has to beat this guy, he has to beat this guy, and the quarterback has to beat this guy. So who makes the play on the ball? If it's this guy, it's the quarterback's fault. If it's this guy, it's the wide receiver's fault for not winning, or it's a bad ball. So just watch the middle field player here. First, let's watch the release from the slot because it's dirty. Fake the quick. Got him. I mean, he gaps him. Quarterback, wrong footwork, late. Middle field player, staring at the inside fade. We're just staring at the inside fade. The middle field player can make a play on that ball because it's late. It's the drop that kills this. So catch, one step, throw. Got him. Probably going to score. Instead, it's late, and we're fortunate that number 2 can't catch, or that should be an interception. Again, all these are off of peak tempo. You can see everybody looking to the sideline. One signal. But again, that's turnover worthy play, right? 2, just go make a play on the ball. Now it still goes through his hands. You'd love for him to catch it. But that should be a touchdown. Inside fade down here to the bottom. Again, a little 3-by-1 middle field closed man. You can see me in the bright yellow here giving the signal. I think I actually just yell it in there. Again, stealing. I mean, he's just winning by 5 yards. Again, I would love to see him get more width with this inside fade because the middle field player almost makes it. This to me is the deepest drop you can get with this type of play. So this is the hybrid where it's catch, shuffle, and that's almost a 3. I'd rather just catch and shuffle. So tick late again. Again, just tick late. That middle field player can get over there and make that play. I got one more after this. See from the back here. Again, the other thing you've noticed here on a lot of these clips is there hasn't been any pass pro issues. Full slide, clean up all the slop. Now, is it perfect? Hell no. Those are not easy angles there for my left guard coming down. But, you're not going to have a free runner in full slide, hopefully. Up and down real easy. All right, last one here. Forget what I put for the last one. Inside fade again down here to the bottom. And this is against one of the better teams we played all year. Again, 2-on-2, bottom of the screen. Our guy, I don't know what was going through him here. He didn't think he was getting the ball or what. But, he's got a great opportunity to be a touchdown right here to the bottom of the screen. Footwork-wise, catch, bit of a shuffle. That's a nice ball trajectory up and down. Shot should be a touchdown. So again, you see a lot of, touchdowns, should be touchdowns. Some of that maybe is coach speak. But again, I just think it's one of those things where it's so easy. Inside fade, slant wheel, all hitch. These are simple, easy concepts that get a big return on your investment. Let's see if I can get back to the main one now. All right. So that's the video. Let me see questions wise here. Get back in the chat here for a little bit and do some questions. Let's see. All right. Yeah. How are you teaching slant? From Justin. Steps, yardage, aiming point. Excellent question. I teach a 3-step slant, inside foot up, 3-step slant, trying to what I consider the highest win angle. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that if this corner is inside of you You got to take an angle to cross that guy's face. The corner cannot drive and make a play on the ball. Cannot. So you have to take a flat enough angle. It's not a 45-degree angle every play. It's a win angle. So in a perfect world, if he's outside leverage of you, it really turns into almost like an inside vertical. You can keep it as steep as you can. Now, at the end of the day, it's a little bit like, I would say, 45 plus. And I usually tell the quarterbacks are to the boundary, let's say. To the boundary, our base split for the wide receiver was splitting the difference between the numbers and the sideline. They would take 3 steps, and I would tell the quarterbacks 11 to 12 yards inside edge of the numbers. So if you can visualize what that looks like as far as up, slant, we split the difference. So that's like 3.5 yards away from the numbers. So really it's a 5 yards. You're catching it 5 yards inside of where you are versus pre-access on air type throws. And you really want to get to the point where I consider these just whatever your metaphor is, whether it's a layup, whether it's a handoff. These have to be really easy, simple throws that you can hit at like a 90% clip on air all the time. Boom. Martin, hey JT, would you use a one-step drop back for a fly route? Oh, Martin, this is a good question. So especially at the high school level, my experience has been for a go or a fly, I'm assuming a fly for you is a go or a 9 route for most people. I have the quarterbacks really find what works for them. So some guys have a one-step arm. You know, they just can't throw it very far. Some guys I've been around can take 5 steps and a hitch and still have enough club in it to push it down the field. And so it really depends on the guy more than anything else. But if you're at the lower levels, like freshman, sophomore, a one-step go from gun, I think is a pretty smart play for most quarterbacks. You, Ryan Lewis, you a check with me kind of play caller. Sort of, probably not in the truest definition of what you think check with me. To me, check with me is basically you call 2 plays in the huddle, you go up and you check to whichever one you can check out of a play. I was never really doing that. I was the type of play caller that was signaling from the sideline and changing the play all the time. So every play, I guess, is kind of a check with me. But we did a lot of what I used to call peak tempo, which, you know, you hustle up to the line of scrimmage, you fake the cadence, and everybody looks to the sideline. Or you shift, motion, stop, fake clap, everybody look to the sideline. Hopefully that makes sense, Ryan. Appreciate everybody hanging in here. Oh man, I've almost already gone an hour. I didn't mean for it to go this long. We'll get some questions. If you have questions, now is the time in the chat. I'll try to rapid fire some of these before we shut this thing down. All right. Coach Birdwell, when you don't mirror quick game concepts, what do you run on the backside? If you're running a lot of slot fade and they come out with too high, what do you have on the other side? Coach, I am changing the play on the sideline. We are never calling inside fade versus too high, ever. So I will only call that when I'm, we get out there, peek over, it's one-on-one, or it's 0, or it's middle field closed man. Very rarely, I can't think of ever calling that verse too high. Now I see what you're saying. If it's not baked into your system to do that, you need to have some sort of too high beater on the other side. So whatever that is for you, whether it's maybe stick, you didn't see a whole lot of stick in there for me. I don't love stick. We experimented with running a little bit more of it the last few years. Again, I'm just not a big fan of throwing the ball, for a 1-yard flat route. But, it certainly survived and stood the test of time. But whatever your too high beaters are. And so the way that the offense is constructed, or was constructed for us, was that we could have any concept on one side, any concept on the other side. And so if they knew that, hey, inside fade is a man, middle field closed, 0 option. If it's not that, you got to work the other thing if that were to come up. It never came up just because the way it's constructed, I would never allow it to do that. But we never really do. I'm not a big fan of inside fade RPOs, just because normally the conflict defender that you're reading in the alley, the second level, the third level player, you're not taking advantage of them vacating their space with the inside fade. Now, I did experiment with inside fade with the number 1 receiver instead of being a locked hitch. I think a lot of people do it better when they make it a locked hitch versus zone or off, and a slant or slow slant where you kind of walk off or shuffle off and then slant to replace it. So it almost turns into a rub. To me, that's a little bit better of an RPO play. You know, we were much more of an RPO slant team just because I love slants because you're going towards the end zone. I think they're easy. We rep them more than anything else with our RPO game. You know, a little glancy also, those types of things. Windu, LOL. I LOL to your question of huddling. We do not huddle, bro. No. That makes sense, Birdwell, to package it with Y cross. I did package it with inside fade to the front side and Y cross to the backside, and then my quarterback decided that he was going to try to throw a back shoulder inside fade and threw an interception, and that was the last time we ever did that. So obviously, struggle is real. Yeah, Jordan, for sure, glance RPOs. I don't consider glance quick game, so I won't get into it too much here, but certainly glance RPOs, that's America's RPO, isn't it? Bryce Hart, power counter clinic, formations, personnel, variations, fronts you like to run them against. Maybe. I'm leaning towards duo just because we ran duo more. Not that I don't like power and counter. I love them. There are elements that bleed over for power and duo for me, so there will be some elements of it, but I appreciate it. I'll probably do that sometime next week, and then that's that. And we'll do a little spring break. We'll take a break on the channel, but you know what I mean. All right, that's a wrap. I certainly appreciate y'all hanging out. If there are other questions that come up, I'll do my best to come back over here. Do me a favor, please, if you haven't already, sign up for the Quick Game course. You get some emails from me once a week. It's a great way also, if you have questions that you didn't get to in the chat, to hit me, and I'll usually better at responding to email questions. Not great, but better at email because I can keep them kind of unread and get to them when I get to them. So don't get hurty feelings if I don't get back to you the second that you send the email, but I usually do a pretty good job of getting back to them, as opposed to, you know, putting comments on an old live stream, which I probably will not get back to. So that's tough. Jordan, I got a whole class on pass pros, bro. All right, that's it, y'all. Have a